Take it all back, all that I said, it comes out too fast. So I just couldn't help the way that I felt.
And now, Sounds of Jazz with Nigel Harrison. Here is the brand new Heavies. Welcome to the Sounds of Jazz with me, Nigel Harrison. Keep you entertained between now and 10 o'clock this evening. So I've got 2 hours of great music. That was the brand new Heavies there, and a track called Stay This Way Forever, and that was taken from their 1990 debut album, just called the brand new Heavies, self-titled album. Yes. Anyway, coming up in this show today, we have got a selection of acid jazz numbers to start off with, and we've got some great crooners as well. And the second part of the show is mainly just bebop and great traditional jazz numbers. Yes. And next, we're coming on with the kind of acid jazz stuff. It was very, very popular in the late 80s, early 90s. There was a great track on their debut single, which I'm going to play here of the Young Disciples. And it's called Get Yourself Together. It's part 1 and part 2, but I'll play you part 1 of this before we move on to another great acid jazz. Talking Loud, I think. The Young Disciples are on the Talking Loud label. And here is Get Yourself Together.
We are here on a mission, and to bring it to fruition, we must look for love, then love we will changes from one that's well and ordinary, so dull and sedentary. Only you can set your place. Oh, how much you should be sharing. Show someone else you're caring. Only you can change the wrong. Change a moment inside into a joyous song. We are here on a mission to bring it to the
Oh yes, what do you think of that? That's the Young Disciples. They had a bigger hit after that, the Young Disciples, with Apparently Nothing. But that was the better track, in my opinion, I think. Get Yourself Together, Part 1. Alright, and on that ilk, we have got a great track from 1992. This was like a one-hit wonder on the Acid Jazz label as well. It's Martin Giroux, and I've got a great version of Revival here. Check it out. This is brilliant.
1, 2, 3,
I
Oh, that's Martin Giroux there, and a track called Revival from 1992. I'm going to change tempo a little bit as we're moving on slowly to the kind of like crooner jazz people and kind of like big bands and stuff like that. But I've got a great track here by Leroy Hudson. It's the original Lucky Fella, and it's really quite jazzy.
You, I don't know what I'm gonna do, 'cause I love you. And when I look into your eyes, know my love will never die for you, girl. Tender love is very dear, and I'm so glad that you're right here, loving me. The happiness you surely bring. Don't you know that you're my everything? And I'm such a lucky fella. You and I are never and I dig you, babe. Said I'm such a lucky fella. You and I are never and I dig you, babe. And when I'm near you, love to feel your hand in mine, baby. Yes, one thing is true, there ain't nothing that I wouldn't do for you, girl. I'm such a lucky fella. You and I are mother and I dig you, baby. I'm such a lucky fella. You and I are mother and I dig you, babe. When I'm near you, love to feel your hand in mine.
From 1975, Leroy Hudson, who was actually in the band The Impressions, and has a track called Lucky Fellow. Alright, I've really got to change tempo now because I'm going to do a little bit of the crooners and the big bands here. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of Nina Simone. This is a track called My Baby Just Cares For Me. It's one of their famous tracks here. And we'll have a little bit of Dinah Washington after that. I do have to mention that on this Dreamcatcher Radio, listeners can now access this radio station via Alexa. All they need to say is, Alexa, enable Dreamcatcher Radio skill. Yes, that'll do. Alexa, enable Dreamcatcher Radio. Why not? Here's Nina Simone.
My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for cars and races. My baby don't care for hot dog places. Liz Taylor is not a star, and even Lana Turner smile. Something he can't see. My baby don't care. Who knows it? My baby just cares for me.
Isn't that brilliant now? My Baby Just Cares For Me, the late, great Nina Simone. You listen to the sounds of jazz here on Dreamcatcher Radio with me, Nigel Harrison, all the way through till 10 o'clock tonight with the very best. We've got some Dinah Washington next. Best of these crooners now. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, it's a rocking good way. That's what it is. This is the original.
If you're gonna give me good kisses like that, honey, don't you know I'm gonna give them right back. That's a kiss and go away. Ah, it's a kiss and go away. Now that's a kiss and go away. Mess around and fall in love.
If you're gonna start out hugging me tight, don't mess around, just hug me right, cause that's a hugging good way. That's a hugging good way.
With you there.
That's a hugging good way to mess around and fall in love.
Take this, you remember this? You know you called me on the phone.
Yeah, baby.
And just because I was alone, yes, you came around wooing.
Admit it.
Ah, you better ask somebody if you don't know what you're doing.
Now you kissed me and you rocked my soul. Don't come around knocking rock and roll, cause that's a rockin' good way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's a rockin' good way.
Yeah.
That's a rockin' good way to mess around and fall in love. Well, you know you called me on the phone, and just because I was all alone,
That's why I called you, baby.
you came around wooing. You better ask somebody if you don't know what you're doing.
Now that you kissed me and rocked my soul, don't come around knocking
What I
rock
said?
and roll. That's a rockin' good way. Dinah, that's a rockin'
I'm
good
with
way.
you, baby.
That's a rockin' good way to mess around and fall in love.
You better know it, baby.
I'm digging you.
It's a rockin' good way.
And I love to rock. How about you?
Baby, you got what it takes.
Ain't that something? You dig the rock?
I say,
Cool.
stay out of my spot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I like the spot though, you know. All right.
You got it, man.
Sa-doo-ya-bop, shoo-ya-bop, 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 shoo-boo-boo. Ba-doo-ya-doo-doo-ya-doo-doo-ya-doo-doo-ya-doo-doo-be-doo. Shaka-la-doo-ya-boo-be-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ya-doo-be-bop-be-boom-be-ba. Sa-wee-woo-be-doo-ya-bop, wee-woo-be-doo-ya-boom-be-be-boom-be-ah. Say-ya-day-ya-day-day-day-boom-boom-be-ba-doo-be. Sha-ba-ba-dee-be-be-be-doo-be. Sha-ba-ba-dee-be-be-be-doo-be. I ain't mad at you, pretty baby, don't be mad at me. Shabba-doo-doo-boo, see-doo-doo-dee. Jean Malachi. Crazy Joe Benjamin. Roy Haynes. Shall we do? Shall we?
Julia Bob, that's the great Sarah Vaughan on there. And really, they sound very jazzy. Blue, 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 blue. Yes. Before that, you heard A Rocking Good Way by the great Dinah Washington. And now, we have got a little bit of, we're going to go back to the 40s now for this next track by the great Cab Calloway. Now, Cab Calloway was, of course, in the Blues Brothers. He had a guest part in the 1980 version of the Blues Brothers with Minnie the Moocher. No, I'm not going to play that one. I'm going to play a track, one of his other tracks. This one is a great one. This one's called Moon Glow. Check this one out. This is cool. Lovely instrumental track there by Cab Calloway. That one was called Moon Glow here on Dreamcatcher Radio. This is the sounds of jazz you're listening to. And next, I'm going to liven it up a bit because ain't nobody here but us chickens. I've got here the Louis Jordan and his Symphony 5. Check this one out.
One night Farmer Brown was taking the air, locked up the barnyard with the greatest of care. Down in the hen house something stirred when he shouted, "Who's there?" This is what he heard: "There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So calm yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. We chickens trying to sleep, and you butt in and hobble, 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 hobble with your chin. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. You're stomping around, shaking the ground. You're kicking up an awful dust. We chickens trying to sleep, and you butt in and hobble, 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 hobble. It's a sin. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got things to do, we got eggs to lay, we got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of setting, getting chicks to hatch. Oh, there ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. Kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. A busy day, we got things to do, we got eggs to lay, we got ground to dig and worms to scratch. It takes a lot of setting, getting chicks to hatch. There ain't nobody here but us chickens. There ain't nobody here at all. So quiet yourself and stop that fuss. There ain't nobody here but us. And kindly point that gun the other way and hobble, hobble, hobble off and hit the hay. Hey, hey, boss man, what do you say? It's easy pickings. There ain't nobody here but us chickens.
Oh yes, that is Louis Jordan and his Timpani 5. Ain't nobody here but us chickens. Yes, from 1945 that one was. Very, very jazzy. Cool. We'll play all the cool jazz and the bebop jazz a little bit later on in the next hour. But doing some of the like the big bands and the original jazz artists here of the 30s and 40s even. Like this one by Louis Armstrong and the Russell Garcia Orchestra. Top hat, white tie and tails. Yes, we're going to give this one a good whirl.
I just got an invitation to the mails. Your presence requested this evening's formal top hats, white tie and tails. Nothing now could take me out of my sails. Because I'm invited to step out this evening with top hats, white tie and tails. Oh, I'm putting on my top hat, tying up my white tie, brushing off my tails. Oh, I'm tooting up my shirt front, putting in the shirt studs, polishing my nails. I'm stepping out, my dear, to breathe an atmosphere that simply reeks with class. And I trust that you'll excuse my dust when I step on the gas. Yeah, baby, putting on my top hat, it mustn't up my white tie, dancing in the tails. I'm on my top hat, tying up my white tie, brushing off my tails. Yes, I'm tooting up my shirt front, putting in the shirt studs, polishing my nails. I'm stepping out, my dear, to breathe an atmosphere that simply reeks with flesh. And I trust that you excuse my dust when I step on the gas. And putting down my top hat, mussing up my white tie, dancing in my tail.
Oh, that's very lively. That's the great Louis Armstrong with the Russell Garcia Orchestra. Top hat, white shirt, sax and tails. Yes. And next, I'm going to lower it slightly, but this is a very famous song. And it was covered in the 1980s. I think Alison Moyet, someone like that, covered it. And I'm going to play you the original. I think it's around about 1952 when this one, 1949 when this one first came to light. This is the original by Billie Holiday, That Old Devil Called Love.
It's that old devil called love again. Gets behind me and keeps giving me that show again. Putting rain in my eyes, tears in my dreams, and rocks in my heart. It's that sly old son of a gun again. He keeps telling me that I'm the lucky one again. But I still have that rain, still have those tears, and those rocks in my heart. Suppose I didn't stay, ran away, wouldn't play, the devil, what a potion he would brew. He'd follow me around, build me up, tear me down, till I'd be so bewildered, I wouldn't know what to do. Might as well give up the fight again. I know darn well he'll convince me that he's right again. When he sings that siren song, I just gotta tag along with that old devil called love. He'd follow me around, build me up, tear me down, till I'd be so bewildered I wouldn't know what to do. Might as well give up the fight again. I know darn well he'll convince me that he's right again when he sings that siren song. I just gotta tag along with that old devil called love. With that old devil called love.
Isn't that good, that? That's the original Billie Holiday, That Old Devil Called Love. Well, the first to be recording it, yes. Next we have Dizzy Gillespie. Very not used to pronouncing this name very well, Dizzy Gillespie, and his all-star quintet. Next, and it's from the 1954 Grooving High album, and this one is called Salt Peanuts. It's good. This is more shoot-ya-bop kind of stuff.
Just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling his romance, Oh, this is. There will come a day, and youth will pass away. What will they say about me? When the end comes, I know they'll suggest to take the lows. Life goes on without me. And just a gigolo, everywhere I go, gigolo the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance. Oh, what this is. And there will come a day, and youth will pass away. What will they say about me? When the end comes, I know there's just a gigolos. Life goes on without me. 'Cause I ain't got nobody. Oh, and there's nobody that cares for me. There's nobody that cares for me. I'm so sad and lonely. Sad and lonely, sad and lonely. Want some sweet mama? Come take a chance with me, 'cause I ain't so bad that I'll sing up. We love song all of the time. You know the baby, but the bossy but live up. I ain't got nobody. Oh, and there's nobody that cares for me. There's nobody that cares for me. Nobody that cares for me. I ain't got nobody. Nobody that cares for me. There's nobody that cares for me. I'm so sad and lonely. Oh, lonely, oh, lonely, lonely, lonely. Want some sweet mama, come and rescue me, 'cause I ain't so bad. And I'll sing up. We love song all of the time. You know me, baby, I'm a sugar, always high. Ain't got nobody, baby. And there's nobody, there's nobody, there's nobody, there's nobody, there's nobody. Ain't no one. There's no one. Dale. Scream. Stasilo. Over there. Nobody. No one. Nobody cares for me.
Louis Prima and Keely Smith. We can't have a jazz show without any Louis Prima on the big bands, can we? And he performed that with his wife, Keely Smith. Just a gigolo, I ain't got nobody. Yes. And before that, you heard the great sound of Dizzy Gillespie and his version of Salt Peanuts. And next, which will take us to the hour of 9 o'clock in the evening, yes, on this glorious Sunday evening. Still a little bit cloudy, rain, a little bit of rain, yes, here and there, but why not enjoy some great jazzy music while you're looking at this dark clouds. I got some nice trees in front of me from my window I'm looking out of. Brilliant, yes. Well, I'm going to finish off this hour with the Count Basie and the 1 o'clock jump. I'll see you in the next hour. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. That's the Dave Brubeck Quartet and Unsquared Dance. And welcome to the second part of the show. The show where it's all like traditional jazz. You got your bebop and stuff like that, all your bops, your trad jazz, your cool jazz, the birth of cool, everything, all in this hour. I'm going to start off. I know we played Dizzy Gillespie Orchestra, where he was in the orchestra. This is him on his own now, and got a track here called the Talk of the Town, because in this show I'm featuring this person, Dizzy Gillespie, and it's like a two-tracker, as a feature. So here is the second track. Dizzy Gillespie is the Talk of the Town. Check it out. Lovely sound of Dizzy Gillespie. Yes, I thought I'd feature him in tonight's show. It's the talk of the town, indeed. One of the finest from the 40s as well. I was around with like Charlie Parker. Next, I'm going to play a little bit of Chet Baker on the show, The Sounds of Jazz. This one is called The Touch of Your Lips.
Touch of your lips upon my brow, your lips that are cool and sweet, such tenderness lies in their soft caress. My heart forgets to beat. The touch of your hands upon the moment divine, the touch of your lips, the love in your eyes, the touch of your lips on
Oh, that's Chet Baker there, and that is only a short one there for Chet Baker. The touch of your lips. Next, we've got the great Charlie Parker. We can't forget him, great Charlie Parker. This is a track called Ornithology, and then we'll play Eric Dolphy after that, straight after that, because he has the ode to Charlie Parker. And Eric Dolphy was a great big fan of Charlie Parker back in the day. Ode to Charlie Parker, and that was Eric Dolphy. Yes, again, one of the greats in this particular jazz music, and it was very, very smooth, that one, and quite, I'd say, quite atmospheric indeed. And before that, you did actually Charlie Parker, a short version of a great track called Ornithology. And next we have Callum Paul Adderley from about 1962. Yes, and he talks about his brother at the beginning on this. This one is called the Jive Samba. I'll let you work it out.
Jazz has come a long way. We're going to play another of our late compositions. This one written by my brother Nat Adderley, one of his more popular ones. It's called the Jive Samba.
sound of Herbie Hancock there from his Maiden Voyage album 1963, and Cantaloupe Island, 1962, Cantaloupe Island there. And before that you heard Cannonball Adderley and Jive Samba, written by Nat Adderley, performed by his brother Cannonball Adderley, again 1962 for that one. We'll go back to 1959 for this one by Miles Davis, for the Kind of Blue album, the one just before Sketches of Spain, and the opening track of that album is called So What. You might have heard a sample of it way back in the 90s, but this is the original, written and produced by Miles Davis, who incidentally was taught and influenced by the great Charlie Parker. This is So What.
Watching you walk, I followed you there, standing too close.
Oh yes, that is the sound of Sidney Bechet and a track called Indian Summer. And before that you heard Miles Davis and a track called So What. And you can get this on Alexis. You know, just shout into your Alexis machine, Alexis, play Dreamcatcher Radio Skill, and it'll come on. And I'm afraid that's all I've got time for. You've been listening to the Sounds of Jazz here on Dreamcatcher Radio, and come back next week at the same time, 8 o'clock, for another Sounds of Jazz on Dreamcatcher Radio with me, Nigel Harrison. I'm going to wish you a very good evening, what's left of it, and I'm going to leave you with Astral Gilberto and Hoey Gilberto, and produced by Stan Getz. This is the Girl from Ipanema. I'll see you all next week. Ciao.
Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes. When she walks, she's like a samba that swings so cool and sways so gently, that when she passes, each one she passes goes. Oh, but he watched her so sadly. How can you tell her he loves her? She walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at him. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, he smiles, but she doesn't see.